The Young and the Restless spoilers. In the stillness of a late evening, the tension was palpable as Chance Chancellor barged into Sharon's home, his expression a mixture of determination and impatience. Without so much as a knock, he flung the door open, his badge barely visible under his jacket, as if it were a mere technicality. To him, it was the authority that mattered, not the formalities. His hands were fast, moving swiftly across shelves, under cushions, and through drawers, upending everything in his path. Sharon watched, her heart racing. "Chance, you can't just," she started, but he cut her off. "I'm the police, Sharon. I can do whatever I need to if it means getting to the truth." His words were cold, detached, a stark contrast to the man Sharon thought she once knew. He wasn't looking for permission or approval, just results. Sharon felt helpless, her words bouncing off him as he rifled through her belongings. Every corner of the room had been turned upside down, but Chance found nothing of importance. No secret evidence, no incriminating letters, nothing that would substantiate his suspicions. He stood there, breathing heavily as Sharon finally found her voice. "You've crossed the line, Chance," she shouted, her eyes blazing with anger. "You had no right to storm into my house and violate my privacy like this. I could sue you for this. Breaking and entering without a warrant, searching without cause." Chance, unshaken, stared back at her with a calm that unnerved her. "Do what you want," he muttered, as if her threats meant nothing. His detachment was chilling, a sign that he had already made up his mind. Without another word, he turned his back on her, heading for the door as if he were done. But Sharon wasn't finished. "You have no idea what you're doing, Chance," Sharon said, her voice trembling now, less from anger and more from the fear that had been building inside her. She had tried to keep her composure during the confrontation, but something in Chance's cold demeanor had shaken her deeply. She knew she had lied, twisted her words to keep him at bay, but she couldn't afford to tell him the truth. Not now, maybe not ever. Chance turned back for a moment, his eyes narrowing. "Sharon, if you're lying, if you're the one responsible for what happened to Heather, you're going to pay, and you know I'll make sure of that." His threat hung in the air long after he left, leaving Sharon standing alone in her disheveled living room. She could feel the walls closing in, her pulse quickening as her thoughts raced. How had it come to this? Chance had been relentless, but she had been careful, or so she thought. Every answer she gave had been calculated, meant to divert him from the truth, but now she wasn't so sure. As she paced the room, Sharon's thoughts began to unravel. Chance was more dangerous than she had anticipated. He wasn't just searching blindly, he was methodical, like a predator closing in on his prey. Suddenly, the cold realization hit her. Chance hadn't found anything during his search, but what if he had taken something without her knowing? What if he had noticed something she hadn't thought to hide? Panic surged through her, and she raced through the house, checking her belongings. Everything seemed to be in place, but something still felt off. What was she missing? In his departure, Chance had left more than just a lingering threat. He had pocketed something small, something crucial, something Sharon would soon wish she had destroyed long ago. Hidden in his jacket, resting against his chest like a ticking time bomb, was a tiny memory card from the camera that recorded everything inside Sharon's house. Chance, ever the tactician, had known exactly where to look. He had observed the hidden camera in the corner of the living room, an unassuming little device meant to protect Sharon's home, but now it would serve a different purpose. He hadn't said a word about it before he left, giving Sharon no reason to suspect him. But he knew that within that card was everything he needed to confirm his suspicions about her. Back at the station, Chance loaded the footage from the memory card onto his computer. Hours of mundane daily activities passed on the screen, but then came the odd moments, the eerie parts where Sharon wasn't quite herself. He watched as she spoke aloud, seemingly to no one, pacing the house in a frantic manner. Her eyes were wild, her hands twitching. And then there it was, clear as day, Sharon holding a blood-stained cloth. Chance leaned in closer, his pulse quickening as the video played on. Sharon cradled the cloth in her hands as if it were something precious, whispering to herself in a tone he couldn't quite make out. His heart sank when he recognized the cloth. It belonged to Heather, the young woman who had gone missing just weeks ago. Next to the cloth, something else caught his eye. In Sharon's other hand was a phone, not her own, but Heather's. Chance felt a wave of cold realization wash over him. Sharon had been lying all along. She wasn't just acting erratically or out of grief, she was hiding something much darker. Chance now had the proof he needed, but it didn't bring him the satisfaction he thought it would. Sharon wasn't just guilty, she was unraveling, spiraling into a madness that he hadn't anticipated. But that didn't change what he had to do next. Sharon's secrets were out, and she was going to have to face the consequences. Back at her house, Sharon sat down, her mind spinning. Something was terribly wrong. Chance hadn't just left, he had taken something with him, something important. Her eyes darted to the corner of the room where the camera had been hidden. Her heart stopped. The memory card.